We're now entering the rainforest. As you can see, it's starting to get very much like there's moss and lichen and ferns. The trees are getting bigger. Sasquatch Prospector here. Welcome back to the channel. You can see there, Vancouver skyline. And this is the Golden Ears Bridge. So we're going to be taking the Golden Ears Bridge, and we're going to go to Golden Ears Provincial Park. And one of the things I love about living in Canada, which is unique to Canada, we have really incredible nature here. We have a rainforest, a full-on rainforest provincial park, protected provincial park, that you can go and hike in. And they have thousands-year-old trees, and it's 30-minute drive from the house in Vancouver. And this is all protected. We have very, very important and stringent laws here in Canada with our provincial parks and national parks and what you can and cannot do in the parks, for good reason as well, because if you don't protect them, they don't last. And in my Niagara video, if you didn't see that, Niagara Parks was protected back. They saw the value of Niagara back in the day, so they made it a national park as soon as they could, and you only get one chance to do that. Because as soon as you start developing an area and changing it, change the ecosystem and the way things function, and then it just it'll never be the same again. So luckily in BC, we value a lot of that. So the provincial park of Golden Ears is here for all of us to enjoy. But as you can see, it's quite popular with Vancouverites. We've actually got a little bit of traffic coming into the park. Our history in BC, 1850s is kind of when it started here. Canada, the role it had to play in the conquest of the world for Great Britain and everything was resources. Lots of timber, lots of resources, spruce, pine, fir, you name it, we got it in Canada. Cedar, right, for decks. And I was reading when I was in England that they would send wood over from Canada for the masts of the ships. So the British ships, right, the sailing ships, what made the British Empire what it was, because their naval supremacy over France, Spain, and Italy, and various other Europeans was partially what contributed to the British Empire, right? They're manufacturing. The first industrial assembly line was created by Mark Brunel in Portsmouth in 1802 to build ship blocks, right, for the British Navy, to make sure that the British Navy could manufacture hundreds and hundreds of blocks for all their ships, right, block and tackles. But it was saying, too, when I was looking at it, that they would import trees from over here for the masts, because ship masts can be a couple 100 feet tall, and fish plate a bunch of timber together to make a mast is not really good. What they would do is they'd find the largest trees they could, and then they would send them over to England, and then that tree would be the mast of the ship. And then all the mining, in Cornwall, the Cornwall region of England, they did a lot of tin mining and stuff, coal mining as well. But here, you see my channel, I do gold mining, gold rushes, various gold rushes, right? Fraser River Gold Rush, Caribou Gold Rush, Yukon Gold Rush, Dominica Gold Rush, Kootenay Gold Rush, the Wild Horse Creek Gold Rush. So that was all British, right? Because it was a British territory. We were a British territory until we got our Confederation and, our Constitution and everything. Became a country. But up until that point, we were part of Britain. War of 1812, even though it was the Canadians that we went and had dinner at the Americans' White House. They'd fled. They cooked dinner. We went, sat down, ate the dinner, and then burned the White House down because it's kind of a waste of food. So, but when we did that, we were British. We weren't Canadians. So the British were using Canada basically as a massive bank to mine coal, copper, timber, gold, silver, and you use that obviously to bankroll their investments around the world and everything like that. So kind of interesting to note, how the United Kingdom basically completely exploited Canada for its resources. But fair credit to Canada that this land is so mineral rich, we have so many resources. It didn't really matter, because even to this day, we're still mulling gold out of places. We're still mining copper. We're still mining coal, precious gems, jade, you name it, we got it in Canada. So you can see here, true proper rainforest here. You can see the big trees. You see the moss covering the trees, the lichen. And these are all thousands of years old, guys. That moss has been growing for thousands of years. So before any colonization had ever come to North America, even down in the south where it started, this was just like this. It's been like this since, and none of us can remember, and none of us will be able to see it when it's finished. This is the temperate rainforest. We live in a country that has 25% of the world's rainforest. I find that, like, I find it's so special about that. So that's what this video is about. It's about appreciating the nature within the city. When I was in London, I couldn't believe, I've never been to a city that has 10 million people, and it's loud all the time. You can smell the smells of the city, right? Various different types of smells we get in cities. And you don't see this, especially not 30 minutes outside of town. And the only development in this park is the road going through the park to access the various campsites. But this is all rainforest, you can see. Alrighty guys, so we're in the forest. We parked, got the Charger there. I love this car, great little car. Doesn't really do too well on the dirt roads though. Used to having a truck, but we'll make it work anyways. Okay, so we're gonna go do the West Canyon walk. I don't know what that entails, but just show you guys these trees, man. I know, the moss. This is the rainforest. Look at this archway of trees on the road. I want to see if I can get that. And you can see the moss has been here forever. Like, this moss buildup is thousands of years old. And if you touch it, you'll kill the moss and the species if you touch them. Because they're very, very sensitive. I'm trying to listen for water. Look at all the ferns. Look at how incredible it is though. The trees, it feels so moist too. You can feel the moisture, like. But it's not cold. Like, it's, you can see up in the mountains. So this is BC Parks. Camping party, vehicles per party, campsite maximum. Very popular location in Vancouver though. Like I said, why wouldn't it be? Because other parts of BC, you got to make a couple hours trip to get out to a place like this. But look at that. That's the moss. I think that's lichen hanging off the trees. Coastal BC rainforest, and it stretches all the way from California to Alaska. In the rainforest, things fall, and then the moss and trees and plants just grow on top of the deadfall. I hear water too. There's a stream here. It's amazing your senses when you're in nature, how much like your sight, hearing, smelling, touching. Yeah, well, the soundtrack of the forest. Look at all these ferns too. These are ancient prehistoric plants too, ferns. I love the look of them too. They just make everything feel so like exotic. Lichen as well. This whole forest is just like a melting pot of like some of the oldest nature in the world. And this stuff is so important. Like if we lose these rainforests, the world is going to be a very different, not nice place to live. They clean out the air for us. This is like where the air gets cleaned, and you can smell it. You can feel it. You can feel like when you breathe in the nature. Oh, and it's a nice little vista too of the mountains. Oh, it's the clean water. It's got that color. I love it. Got a culvert to prevent a washout, right? This prevents washouts. So there's water coming down from the mountains. Obviously follows the stream. And so they use these culverts. This is called a culvert, to keep the water from washing out the road, right? So instead of just filling up and banking up on the side, it comes through here. And so you get like a man-made stream. We need more of these in BC to prevent our washouts of our roads, but you can see the color of the water. It's so clear, so clean. And it's a nice thing too, you don't have to worry about bears this time of year.
Yeah.
Because they're sleeping. Yeah, this is it. And so guys, this would be the other side of the culvert. There's a stream too running along the side of the road. See the mountains in the background, snow-covered mountains. Misty mountain hop, eh? Led Zeppelin. The ferns. The moss, the lichen covering everything. The smells, the sounds. Just very peaceful. Very healthy, very satisfying for the soul. Isn't it crazy that all these plants and trees will be here like when we're all long gone? Our lives are so small and insignificant comparatively. It's like a tree that lives thousands of years old, like to just like live till we're 70. The nature here is just like, it makes me so happy. All the like branches that are just covered in moss gives it such a cool look. Like look at this here, like it's just like they form like canopies. Oh, the smell, like it just smells like, it smells like pine and like moss and dirt and that, like, you know, that mountain smell, like the smell of like iron and minerals, the colors of the greenery, the smells. Where are you gonna see ferns like this?
They have rolling hills and stuff.
Look at this tree.
I know.
Look how tall it is and big, like thousands of years old these guys are.
Yeah,
They've been living here and they're so smart and intelligent, you can feel it. We're the children and the idiots, but always made me mad when people said trees don't have feelings. And they're not smart. I was like, trees are smarter than like most humans. Yeah. The nursing stems, that'll become another tree.
Yeah,
you can see the moss is already covering it, and all the deadfall, all the little logs and stuff, that's all moss, homes for moss, and it's incredibly self-sustaining, and everything relies on everything else. That's why if you take one element away from it, the whole thing just doesn't function. It's really sad. It's actually scary to think about that, how fragile it is, the fragility of it. So we drove to the campground area. Now we're gonna go drive back out of the park because there's only a few places you can drive. See if we can find the cool little stream that we found a couple years ago over here. So this is kind of the playground for a lot of people in Vancouver. So this is the Alouette Lake day use area, the beach. So you drive 45 minutes from your house in Vancouver if you live in Vancouver, and this is what you will have the privilege of being able to spend your day doing. I love living in Canada with nature. The Alouette Lake Power Complex is here too, actually. So they use Alouette Lake to generate power for Vancouver. Somebody's having a fire on the beach. So we are here. We're right here. See, BC Hydro Dam, because they generate power at the dam. We were going to go to the Gold Creek campground, but that was where dirt roads and my charger don't mix. I'm not taking the charger on a dirt road, because it's not what that car's for. So they're using Alouette Lake, even though it's a provincial park. They've excluded this part, so then they can basically generate power from the Alouette Lake, where it basically feeds into the Alouette River, and that's part of the Stave-Ruskin Alouette Power Complex. Right, Stave Powerhouse is around here, Ruskin Dam, and then Hayward Lake is made because of the Ruskin Dam. So that's the Alouette-Stave Power Complex, which I'll be doing a video about. But they do generate power out of here, and it's a massive power complex, actually. Alouette Generating Station at the top of Alouette there. Named after the Twin Peaks of Mount Blanchard, Golden Ears Provincial Park was originally part of Garibaldi Provincial Park. Alouette Lake and the forested surroundings were once used as traditional hunting and fishing grounds for the Douglas, Lillooet, Interior Salish, and Cotsee Coast Salish Nations peoples. The park is home to many different types of wildlife, including beaver, black bear, deer, and mountain goat. A second growth forest of western hemlock, western red cedar, and Douglas fir characterizes this park. An old growth rainforest. And then this is parks of the lower mainland. Talking about parks, so we've got Stein Valley, that's a gorgeous park. Garibaldi Park, Pinecone Burke Park, Golden Ears Park, Mount Seymour Park, Cypress Park, Portal Cove Park, Shannon Falls Park, Tetrahedron Park, Cultus Lake, Chilliwack, Bridal Falls, Sasquatch Park, my favorite, Sasquatch Park. We got a lot of provincial parks here, guys. We like our nature here. Upper Lillooet Park. So these are all, these green areas you see here, these are all provincial parks just in the Vancouver area. So this is Alouette Lake. We'll go walk over by the dam. I think I hear a waterfall too. So that dam is excluded from the provincial park. That's why there can be development there. The BC Parks was crafty there's something we call legislation to make that area workable, but preserving the rest of this for everybody. A good mix, right? Like I said, you can have both. You can have power and infrastructure and energy and all the stuff that we take for granted in the world. You can also have nature. And that right there is a prime example of how it can happen. That's the dam over there. It's a little low this time of year, but that's normal. Rise up in the summer, in the fall. We can see where we are. Absolutely gorgeous. The water's so clear too. Oh, it's all glacial mountain water that just accumulates in the lake. So we've seen a good mix of the park. Can you imagine this place in the summertime though?
That's crazy.
It'd be absolutely packed. So we got two rivers, or streams, or creeks. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. Leave a comment. That's going to be it for me, guys. Sasquatch Prospector out.